Hello everyone, I hope all of you are doing great and keeping safe. Now this video is regarding all those students who are starting preparing for CA intermediate auditing and assurance subject for the first time. I'll give you a brief overview of what all chapters we have in this subject specifically. Then for last 4 attempts, how ICAI have set their exam paper. So their exam paper analysis, I've done a basic summary of that is going to be presented to you. And then what should be your approach? So when you start preparing, let's say maybe you start watching lectures, what should be your focus areas? When you are doing a self study, what exactly are going to be the pinpoints where you need to really pull your socks up? So from that perspective, it's going to be a short video. If we talk about auditing at an intermediate level, the primary focus has to be on auditing standards or standards on auditing. Now, I'm sure majority of you would have heard of this term, and majority of you would have studied also in them in extreme detail. So what I've done is, for our purpose of discussion, ICAI module has 13 chapters. So let me give you an overview first. ICAI module has 13 chapters. I have divided these 13 chapters into 7 chapters, where my first chapter is auditing standards. So if you ask me, chapter 1, 2, 3, 5, 7, 8 and 11, these standards are purely made from auditing standards. So I have compiled all of them into one single chapter, that is called as chapter number 1, standards on auditing. So for the purpose of our discussion, keep in mind when I say auditing standards, it covers these all 7 chapters for ICAI module point of view. And then the remaining miscellaneous chapters, like a chapter on company audit, a chapter on audit of different types of entities, they are classified separately. So if you see in the PPT, the first one is auditing standard. Okay, and then we have other 6 chapters. Now, talking about your exam pattern. Now, auditing exam, if you ask me, has 30% MCQ and 70%. So, auditing at an intermediate level can be bifurcated into 2 parts. You will have 30% MCQ, that is 30 marks worth of MCQs, and then 70 marks worth of theoretical paper. Out of this 70 also, if you ask me, 14 mark you have correct, incorrect question. Correct, incorrect questions. And then remaining 56 marks are going to be either your case study based questions or direct theoretical question from your ICAI module chapters. That's the major bifurcation. Now, if you see last 4 attempts, why am I taking 4 attempts? Because from May 19 onward, this 30% MCQ and 70% remaining paper, this kind of pattern came into existence. Earlier we used to have entire 100 mark of theoretical paper, but from May 19 2019 onwards, this 30% MCQ came into existence. So we're going to take into base May 19, November 19, then again unfortunately May 2020 didn't happen, so we have November 20, and then we had Jan 21, one special exam for opt-out students. So I've taken all four exam question papers into base, and if you'll see most commonly, if you see most commonly in the table, earlier there used to be little less focus on auditing standards, but then the focus is increasing quite significantly, and this includes, remember, only out of 70 mark. See, MCQ, what they ask is, we don't have a direct access as a teacher because a student is not allowed to carry their MCQ paper out in public, so we don't really get to see that paper. So this is purely out of 70 marks. I'm not going to assume that maybe out of 30 percent of MCQ, 15 marks worth of standards on auditing questions can come. I doubt it, but maybe a 10 mark worth of additional essay based questions in MCQ is possible, and maybe remaining 20 marks can be your logical questions or case study based questions on the remaining chapters. It is possible, but for your understanding, let's focus on this 70%. We'll talk about MCQs in the end. Okay. Out of this 70, I clearly see a significant focus, that is more than 35 to 40 marks focus specifically on auditing standards. After that comes your company audit chapter, where you have section 138 to 148 in your syllabus, and a basic introduction of audit committee, that is section 177. Can you see weightage? It can vary somewhere between 10 to 20. Now this includes your CARO also. CARO 2016, which is applicable for May 21 exams, maybe November 21, or let's say maybe May 22 onwards, the CARO 2020 will become applicable. So CARO plus company audit together will have a weightage of somewhere between 10 to 20 marks. And then you have audit of items of financial statements. Then you have chapter number 13, that is audit of different types of entities, risk assessment, internal control, bank audit. But if you see, the weightage is pretty minimal comparatively. So at a broader level, if you focus on these three parts in detail, your auditing standards, your company audit and CARO chapter, and your chapter number 13, that is, chapter number 9, that is audit of items of financial statements, you cover more than 70 to 80% of your syllabus. So that remaining 20% can come from the remaining 4 chapters. That's the broader bifurcation. So what should be your approach? How you should really approach this subject? Again, I have been emphasizing on this fact for years, but people used to criticize me a lot of years back that why do you as a teacher believe in teaching all auditing standards? I'm telling you, even ICAI finally has realized, they have revamped the syllabus. Now they have revamped the way of asking questions. Now the focus on auditing standards is very, very high, and I'm very happy because auditing subject is made from auditing standards. Yeah, that's the base part, and that's why my always suggestion is your approach should be like this. This is like a timeline to you. The first approach should be on auditing standards. Now if you ask me which auditing standards, it's simple. So out of 36 standards, 9 are not applicable. Let me give you an overview once again for the same. So this is your list of auditing standards. You have in total 36, including SQC, which is not in extreme detail for you. But out of these 36, 9 standards are excluded. These are not made applicable at an intermediate level at all. So if you remove these 9, do you get my point? That means we're left with 27 standards. All 27, maybe SQC, not that important. Some part of SQC is covered under SA 220 and 230. So you can say the remaining 26 standards are equally very important. I can show you that in last 4 exams, there is a question on SA 200, 210, 240. I would say it's your duty to focus on all those 26 standards without doubting that whether ICAI can ask a question on this standard or not. It's your duty to focus on them entirely. Also, these 9 standards which are excluded by ICAI has clearly emphasized you need to have basic working knowledge of these standards also, because once in a while the conceptual question can come. That is why in our regular lectures we cover all these 36 standards in extreme detail. Rather, it has been my approach since years. The day I started teaching auditing, from that day one, because I come from a big 4. I come from PwC, Deloitte. I used to work there, during 2008 till 2014 tenure. And I believe auditing standards are the most essential part. That is why you always start with them. You get a very good understanding of auditing standards and then you go to chapters, because if you understand standards, reading chapters, maybe remembering some bit of that and then writing that answer is going to be very helpful to you. So my advice, always start with auditing standard. That is going to be your step number one. After that, go to company audit chapter. Why company audit in Caro? Because this company audit section 138 to 148 is also taught to you, in intermediate law. So it's comparatively not new for you. You're already aware of those provisions. When you read them once again, it's easier. Caro, one question you can expect in the examination, either the applicability of Caro or any specific clause. Now, you can just refer sample Caro questions from any teacher's question answer module. You'll get a very good access of that. After that, you should move on to audit of items of financial statement. Now here, there is some general procedure which you should keep in mind, and then the specific one regarding every individual item. So all your balance sheet captions, all your income statement captions, you should go through them entirely. Don't try to remember them. There is no point remembering. It's a 100-page chapter. You cannot remember entire things. You have to understand that. Yes, if you understand it properly and if you have a good knowledge of auditing standards, trust me, you will be able to write the answer from this chapter number 9 as well. Then comes your audit of different types of entities. Here you have a cooperative society audit, audit of a local body, audit of a government expenditure, powers and duties of CAG. Again, a detailed chapter, and then you have a lot of miscellaneous audits. That is audit of a cinema hall, audit of a charitable institution, NGO, and all. Again, an important chapter. You can expect one or two questions from this chapter for sure. Then, once your auditing standards in these chapters are done, move on to risk assessment and internal control. The risk assessment actually comes from SA 315. So that SA 315 understanding will help you in understanding this chapter as well. This chapter is also a little bit in extreme detail, but not that difficult if you understand SA 315 according to me. And extension of this chapter is audit of a business in an automated environment. Here they'll talk about a little bit about your IT control. So your EIS knowledge of chapter number 3 comes into picture here. So your EIS chapter 1 and 3 gives you an overview of different types of internal controls, your automated, semi-automated and pure manual controls, the relevance of them. Then there's two broader categories, general IT controls and application controls. उन दोनों का understanding भी आपको definitely help करेगा to finish this particular chapter. And in the end, I would recommend, because I generally see only one 4-mark question and maybe one or two MCQ questions from bank audit, because bank audit is actually part of in detail CA final syllabus. At intermediate level, they just wanted to give you an introduction. They wanted to introduce this concept to you. So a basic level of understanding of banking audit is required from this particular chapter. This should be your approach when you are studying the subject for the first time, or maybe you are doing a self-study from your exam point of view. Now, why am I emphasizing again and again? Because if you can, smartly plan, see, it's very easy to get lost somewhere between 13 chapters. But if you prioritize, okay, out of these 13 chapters, I need to first finish these standard based 7 chapters. Then I need to go specific chapter by chapter. If you move like that, according to me, you will be in a very comfortable and confident position. That is my objective to explain this to you. If you want, I can show you one actual exam paper also. This is Jan 21 exam paper. If you see carefully, the first question is the compulsory question. That is your correct, incorrect. It's a 14-mark question. Trust me, it is the easiest place to score. So, out of this 14, scoring between 7 to 10 is not very difficult, because majority of these correct, incorrect questions are purely your understanding based scenarios. If your understanding of auditing standards and miscellaneous chapters is very good, you will not have any trouble to score marks in this correct, incorrect. Then, other than this, you have 5 more questions. So you have in total 6 questions in the exam paper. The first one is the correct, incorrect one. Out of remaining 5, you need to write answers for only 4 questions. So you have one option to choose, that maybe out of 2, you need to pick one. So out of total 5 questions, 4 questions you are going to answer. And every question will have 3 to 4 parts. In normal scenarios, you always have 4 parts in every individual question. So if you see, this is your question number 2. It will have 4 parts, part A, B, C and D. And in the last question, normally you have between these parts also 1 or 2 options. Like for example, come here. Can you see question number 6? In part B, you have an option either to choose this question or this question. But normally they are from two different chapters. So somewhere it is easier for you that, let's say for example, you're a little weak in a bank audit, maybe chapter 13 will help you to, to compensate and choose another set of question ideally. But overall, according to me, focus at least 40 mark paper out of 70, that is correct, incorrect and theoretical, your case study based questions. 40 mark expect on essays, and then 10 mark on company audit, and then maybe 15 mark on audit of different types of entities and audit of items of financial statements. So bifurcation can be like this: 40 mark on essays, 10 mark for sure on company audit and caro, 15 marks from chapter number 9 and 13. Here 9 is audit of items of financial statements and 13 is audit of different types of entities. This is bare minimum you should keep in mind. If you ask me, this leads to 65 mark worth of paper, and remember this we are talking out of 70. So maybe here and there out of remaining 3-4 chapters, see actually there is one additional question. So you actually have 70 plus 14, 84 mark paper, out of which you have to opt and write only for 70 mark. Do you get my point? So ideally you will get from this remaining 14 and remaining additional 5-10, you'll see questions from risk assessment internal control chapter, you will see question from bank audit. So those miscellaneous chapters can be asked. This is a brief overview to you. Is this subject scoring? If you understand auditing standards, trust me, the 30% marks in MCQ, you don't have to prepare for it separately. This 30% is purely on your understanding of the subject. So if you do really well auditing standards, if you do really well your company auditing provisions and your remaining, miscellaneous chapters concepts, you cannot go wrong. This is a very strong area. If you ask me, now at an intermediate audit level, 30% MCQ, that is 30 marks, plus 14 marks of correct, incorrect. This does not require memorizing. Let's understand this. This 44 mark is purely on your conceptual understanding, and the remaining 56 out of this as well, you will see at least 26 to 36. This is a range of good case study based questions. Now for these case study based questions, you need to have good knowledge. That is more important. Yes, if you have good conceptual understanding and knowledge, maybe you will be able to write those specific technical terms which will help you to score really well. Anyways, that's it from my side. This was an overview to you how you should approach, how you should be focusing. One simple tip: in a subject like auditing, first try to understand, then try to learn maybe the keywords, and then try to write on your own. So 3 important steps: understanding, maybe a practical exposure can help you to understand this better. Look at actual audit reports, look at actual engagement letters, look at actual written representation letters, external confirmation letters. They'll help you understand auditing standards better. Number 2, after that, find the important technical terminology which is going to be helpful to you even during your articleship or maybe the interviews which you're going to face post qualification. And then try to practice. Don't think that I'm reading it properly, I'm remembering it properly, I will be able to reproduce the same concept in your exams like this. It may not be possible like that. So that is why writing practice is also very, very essential. If you do all these 3 things, according to me, you will be in a very confident zone. That's it, guys. If you have any other questions, or if you want me to make any short videos regarding any of the specific topics, please drop me a message in the comment section. Thank you. This is Rishabh Jain for you guys. Bye bye. Please stay safe.